I am Janelle Evans, and I'm co founder and CEO of Strategic Interactions. And I'd like to share in this video 7 techniques that will help you reduce stress and anxiety. And the reason I'm focusing on this topic is I have been working with a lot of high achievers lately who are struggling with an additional layer of stress and anxiety as they are now being charged to create what we're calling the new normal workplace. More workers are returning to their offices or they're still working remotely. So we got a lot of hybrid situations happening. And it's just a whole new world. Old leadership approaches are not going to work in this new normal. And so in the past, leaders have really had to rely on trying to figure all this out while keep the lights on in the business, so to speak. While trying to manage their own stress and anxiety about the uncertainty and the continuous change that has been happening, what I guess now a year and a half as I record this. So while we don't control a global pandemic or really its impacts, we are always in control in how we respond to everything and certainly how we take care of ourselves. And, fundamental to our own well being is that we do take care of ourselves. And practicing mindfulness is really something that I see more and more leaders really integrating into their life. And as a certified mindfulness and meditation instructor, I know that if one intentionally integrates these practices, that they will feel more calm, more relaxed, more productive, focused, and much, much less stressed. Mindfulness really creates a space for us to develop also a higher level of emotional intelligence because it really supercharges our ability to be more self-aware, right? And that helps us manage our emotions because we're aware of what we're feeling and then we can choose to manage them. So I'm going to share 7 really simple mindfulness techniques that will help you have all of those things, to feel less stressed, to feel less worried, to have less anxiety and overwhelm. Because if we don't do this, what this leads to is really burning out, right? So it's very, very important. But I want to define mindfulness first as this. It's a way of being in the world. And it's a definition that I have written here is that it's engaging your attention in the present moment, letting your mind and senses be full with whatever you're experiencing with a non-judgmental attitude. Mindfulness is all about being all in the moments of your life. You're not thinking about the past and you're not concerned about the future. You're living and being present and all in the moment of your life. It's about having your attention placed there and continuously refocusing on the present moment. Now, you can be mindful anywhere, anytime by these couple of things, recognizing your feelings and emotions and then managing them in any kind of stressful situation. You can be mindful by being more aware of the impact that you have on other people when you are present. Particularly for leaders, people are always watching you. They're learning from you. How are you handling this re-entry, these hybrid working environments and teams and all of that? They're watching how you handle it. And if you're calm, they're going to more likely take their cue from you, your direct reports. Now, mindfulness is practiced formally as a seated meditation. And every meditation begins with mindfulness, coming to the present moment and being aware of how you feel, where you are and how you feel. So to help you better manage stress, shift your mindset to a more positive place and even up level your energy, I want you to consider these 7 mindfulness techniques. Number 1, be all in and enjoy the moments of your life. If you think about memories that you have in your life that you are just so vivid and so you can just remember what you were wearing, what the music was, everything. It's because you were there, you showed up, you weren't thinking about what you were going to be doing after the experience, right? So I want you to think about even like when you're having a meal or drinking something, focusing on that instead of like having your laptop or while you're eating, trying to watch listen to a podcast or like do 3 or 4 things at one time. That is not being all in. So try focusing on just doing that one thing. When you take a walk in the woods, maybe you don't listen to the podcast. Maybe you just enjoy the sounds of nature. When you're talking to someone, really focus on them versus sort of being half present, checking your phone, getting back in the conversation, checking your phone. Being fully present with whatever it is you're doing will really center you and deepen your experience with whatever it is that you are experiencing at that time. And certainly anyone that you're engaging with is really going to appreciate you giving them all of your attention. Now, number two, when you feel rushed, reset. When you feel rushed, reset. Whenever you feel overwhelmed and you're trying to do too many things, I want you to just stop, pause, and reset by taking a couple of breaths, 3 to 5 deep, deep breaths, and ask yourself, why am I rushing around? Because, it's kind of silly, right? Because rushing around isn't really going to be helping you, and it's probably creating more anxiety for you, right? But we are kind of conditioned to do this. So if you're working on something, for work, rushing around is likely going to increase your error rate, right? And your chances of making mistakes. So instead, choose to slow down and reset with some deep breaths. And you might even walk around, stretch, or whatever feels good to you, because you're going to feel more relaxed right away. And you'll be better able to solve whatever it is that you're working on, and you make better decisions if you operate from that place of calmness versus just being completely overwhelmed and feeling like you've got 5 or 6 things you've got to do in 10 minutes. Number three, just stop the multitasking myth. Our brains are not designed to multitask, even though I know some of you listening to this probably think that you're just pros at doing it, but it doesn't happen. What people are actually doing when they're multitasking is constant task switching. So you see, when it comes to tasks that require any cognitive effort, our brains are simply not designed to do that. They're designed to do one thing at a time. So task switching really negatively impacts your productivity and your efficiency level. It's better to focus on monotasking, where you put all your attention on one thing at a time. Turning off your email notifications and your phone will certainly help you do that. Number four, maintain an attitude of gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for, to be mindful of. But sometimes those things get overlooked if we're really intentionally concentrating, on what we're being stressed out about. So we want to focus on what is good, what is positive. Practice being grateful for real things, experiences, people in your life. One of the techniques, as a subset of this, is like first thing in the morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, identify 3 things that you're really grateful for and try to change those every day, because that's going to expand your reality around, gosh, while I might be worried about how I'm going to rebuild my team or, have this hybrid situation, there's always something good. And that can really improve your perspective and keep you from feeling overwhelmed, right? And it creates a more balanced picture of what's really going on and helps you feel more optimistic. And that's a much better power source to work from. Number 5, implement a routine of mindfulness reminders. And what I mean there is that there are a lot of things now that you can get added to your laptop, desktop, phone, iPad that can just be a soft chime, as an example, that you schedule in advance to remind you to pause, come back to the present moment. We can all go down rabbit trails, right? And some people do this like 5 minutes before a Zoom call. They will get a chime and they'll just take some breaths and really center, let go of everything else so they can be fully present on the call and be able to contribute during the conversation. I think that's really important. And some people say, like, every hour I have a chime, I get up, walk around, get something to drink, change my energy, right? And come back to the moment. Number 6, press pause when triggered. Now, we've all had situations where somebody said something, did something that triggered us, and we had just almost an automatic negative response, either mentally, emotionally, or certainly physically. Sometimes that can happen. We can feel hot, or something happens that we go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened again, right? And that's where emotions often show up first, physically. So before you say anything or do anything, just press pause in your mind. Take a few breaths. Think about whether what you're about to say is going to be helpful or hurtful to someone else or even to yourself. Pausing for just a few seconds can calm you and bring you back to the present moment so you can collect your thoughts and be very mindful in how you want to respond. And that's certainly going to help manage the relationship part of what's going on. This also will, keep your blood pressure from getting any higher and will keep the level of stress that you may have been, going towards. It will lower that as well. Number 7, and this is a big one, meditate every day to supercharge your ability to be mindful. Meditating really helps you develop this foundation of mental fitness and calmness by eliminating the accumulation of stress. I've worked with people who said, I know not having a technique for managing stress led to me having a heart attack, stroke, and even cancer. So, stress, managing stress is really important to our mental, emotional, and physical health. And meditation is as simple as sitting and breathing. Meditating trains your brain to let go of your worries. Over time, meditation will increase your ability to focus and make better choices. That helps you feel like you're in control and managing a lot of things in your life. And when you feel like you can do that, then that's naturally going to help you feel less stressed and less anxious about your future. Another reason to meditate that I just saw today in an article is that people who meditate have less cognitive decline as they age. So I just want to mention that as a sidebar, just another great reason to meditate. So, why does all this matter? Well, with all of these techniques and practices, the more you do them, the easier they are. They become habits, they become patterns and rituals that really serve you in your life. And it trains your brain to respond to the cues that I've mentioned in these 7 techniques that will increase your level of mindfulness and lessen feelings of anxiety and overwhelm and prevent you from having that burnout experience. These techniques can really minimize a ton of stress that clouds your thinking, and that will give you more clarity about everything in your life. So, practicing mindfulness not only reduces stress and anxiety, but it will again advance your emotional intelligence with greater self awareness, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Having a high level of emotional intelligence helps you be and feel more confident and competent and skilled in many areas of your life, such as your career, your family, your health, your finances, your relationships, and just about everything in your life. So I'll close with a quote by Sharon Salzberg, who is a mindfulness teacher for many, many years and author. She says, mindfulness isn't difficult. We just have to remember to do it. And that is the absolute truth. So I hope these techniques will be helpful for you. If you have any questions, you don't want to reach out to me, my contact information is in the description of this video. Take care and be mindful.